everyone and welcome. Today this video is part of the Creative Design Team's YouTube collaboration where we will be posting videos from today. I'm actually the first up in this series and we are all going to be showing creative ways to use stencils, things that you may not have thought of doing before with them. In today's video, I'm going to create my own stencils using thin cuts, specifically these slim alphabet thin cuts. I'm starting a brand new project. It's an 8.5 by 11 project of a trip that I did with some friends last year. We were lucky enough to go down to Phillip Island and spend 12 days down there. In between lockdowns, we were really lucky that we were able to do this, and we had fabulous weather. It was in February of last year, and I've got all the photos printed. And for this album, I'm going to delve right back to 2019 for The World Is Yours. I've had this collection in my stash for quite some time and haven't used it, and we haven't been traveling very much, and I've thought it's time to cut into it, and it would be perfect to celebrate this trip that I had with my girlfriends. I'm going to use some papers from this and some of the stickers. And I also have the Cut Above layout kit, which I haven't touched at all. And that's got die cuts and stickers and other papers that come with the kit in order for you to make these layouts. But the 8.5 by 11 project that I'm going to do, I'm going to adapt these. But for today's project, I'm going to start with the very first title page of the project. I've gone ahead, printed my photos. These are 3x4s and 3x3 photos. And I've got a white mat around them. And what I want to do is do some stenciling on the white piece here. So this is an 8.5 by 11 inch background piece, and then I've cut my white daisy to 7.5 by 10. So I have a 1/2 inch border all the way around. Now what I'm going to do is show you how I'm going to create my stencil. So I'm just going to set these pieces aside and start lining up the letters across my Versamat. I've taped my T-ruler. You can do this with a normal ruler. I've taped my T-ruler down with some washi tape, and I'm just going to start lining up my letters using the T-ruler and the guides on the Versamat to help me get everything fairly well aligned and straight. And now that I've done that, I've got a long piece of washi tape that I'm going to press down and pick up this entire strip. And then I'm going to bring in a piece of white daisy cardstock and put this title over top. I've left plenty of area around the outside because I'm going to be cutting this away and using this as my stencil. And then I just need to run this through my die cutting machine. So now that I've done that, I'm going to carefully peel back my washi tape. So always do this on an angle so you don't tear your paper. So now with this cut out, I've got all my letters left over, and I can use these on another page in my project. And I've also gone ahead and done the Phillip Island title, and I did exactly the same technique that I just showed you with friends. And because I was using the ruler, I was able to do the first lot of letters and run those through and then line up the next lot. And this is why there's a little ruled line under here, so that I could line that up and then do the island after that. What my plan is for this is to, even though this is too wide, I want to do the letters going across the page and then intersperse them with the word friends. So it's not going to be a whole title where you can see the whole entire title on the page. It's just going to be portions of it. And I've cut this out of white daisy because it's not something that I'm going to reuse again and again. Normally when I do stencils, I will do them out of the stencil film that we used to carry that I've still got some of, but for this project I'm happy just to use the white daisy cardstock. I am going to secure this a little bit with some washi tape so that it doesn't move too much. And to tie in with the tones of this paper, I have picked Pumice Stone and Tattered Rose. I think they match in perfectly. So I'm going to ink up and tap off because I only want a light amount. So the bottom half of the letters are going to be with Pumice Stone and the top half are going to be with Tattered Rose. And I don't want it too strong. I'm not worried about blending too much at all. This is just going to be a little bit of sponging to make the letters in the background, and they don't all have to be perfect either. I don't want this to be a totally clean look. If I wanted that, I would have cut all the letters out and stuck them on the page. And I'm hoping that my desk isn't wobbling too much. I have to take it apart and put it back together again. Something's come a little bit loose. And you can see here, now I'm going in with the Tattered Rose and I'm doing exactly the same thing with this. Even though this is a very, very light colour, I'm inking it up and tapping it off. You want to be a little bit careful when you've got something like an N because obviously they've got pointy pieces. So if you wanted a more solid colour and you wanted to blend a bit more, you would hold that bit and drag it down so that you could get a more blended look. I'm just going to peel this back and have a little look, and you can see that that's worked beautifully. And then what I'm going to do is reposition this so the word island comes out off the page. So I'm looking through this and then just going to bring it down and secure it again with some washi tape and repeat the same process. So I'm going to speed this up so that you don't have to sit and watch the whole entire process. And then you'll see, once I've done this part of the island, I'm going to bring in the word friends, and then I'm going to repeat that onto the rest of the background piece that I'm working on. So you can see how that looks. It doesn't really matter that some of them are darker than the others, and I'm going to put photos and things on top of these, of course. But what I'm going to do to finish off the edges is just distress these a little bit with the pumice stone around the edges, because I just find that that will make that pop against the background. I love how that's looking. I'm really, really happy with that. And I can use these again if I wanted to throughout the rest of the project. So I'm not going to throw those away. Because I've been tapping, it hasn't really worn the cardstock out too much. So they might pop up again within the rest of my project that I'm working on. I've actually removed the center of this pattern paper because I only have one other full sheet of it, and I might want to bring that in with accents and things on it. So I'm going to adhere that, and then I'm going to work out my photo placement. I'm laying out some of the elements, and I've pulled in some of the stickers, and what I do is I normally cut them out so that I can place them on the page. I want to make sure that I've got at least a couple of the words intact, so the Phillip Island and the Friends part, but I'm finding these photos are getting a bit lost on the background. So these peach coloured sheets were from the cut above layout, so I'm just going to use those to mat my photos and make them pop a little bit off the page. So I'm loving how that looks with the addition of the peach, and I'm going to go ahead and adhere some of these elements on. I've got a zip strip, I've got this sticker here, and when I put my photos down, I'm going to not put adhesive right on the edges because I might want to tuck things under. And sometimes when you've done a double mat or a frame, it's good to have one of the photos or the elements running off into that mat area. It just seems to bring everything together and make it nice and cohesive. You can see I've attached the stickers. These words are from, as I said before, the journaling, the zip strip from this paper from the same pack. And what I've done is I've cut the zip strip off and I've just torn the edges to make it look like washi tape. Bringing in this suitcase sticker down the bottom here, I've brought in some blue, and I also want to cover up this 5. So I'm just going to attach this little geotag heart with some foam tape and cover that part up. And because I've brought the blue in here, I want to add it also up here as well. So I'm just going to tuck this little sticker underneath the camera and across the photo, and that brings blue across the page and everything is just flowing this way. I also want to add some splatters, and I meant to do that before I started putting everything down, but I can just mask off my photos. I don't mind if the splatters go onto the rest of the layout. And when I'm just doing a small area of splatters, instead of using my all-purpose mat, I just bring in some acetate, and then I'm just going to pick up some of the pumice stone and tap it around where I want the splatters to be, and it's not going to affect my photos at all. And it's quite easy just to get some copy paper and cover that part off. But it does add a little bit of visual interest, especially to where the stickers and the clusters are. I'm really happy with how quickly this 8.5 by 11 page came together for the first page in this album. I can't wait to scrapbook the rest of them. I hope you enjoyed the tips I showed you with creating your own stencil using an alphabet thin cut set. The slim alphabet set is really great for this sort of technique because you can fit a lot of letters in close together, and I really love how this looks. And this is an 8.5 by 11 page, so you can create ones with a 12-inch page. You could do a 6-inch project. You could even use this technique on a card, a slimline card or a normal A2 size card. Don't forget to watch out for the rest of the creative design team. There's going to be some amazing projects coming your way, showing you wonderful new ways and creative ways to use stencils that you may not have already thought of. Thank you so much for watching. I'll put some still shots up at the end of this video, and all the links will be below for the rest of the videos as they publish over the next few days. Happy crafting, and bye for now.